They say money be the root of all evil. Just left my coin shop with a pocket of silver eagles.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so now let's talk silver. Folks, when I say I love you, I truly mean that. I shouldn't be talking right now, let alone making videos, but when I say that I'm going to give you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date recent information in the world of precious metals, more specifically silver, I'm going to stand by my word. I got every single one of my teeth ripped out, top and bottom, replaced with new ones. My teeth are beautiful, but at what cost when I can't make top quality for you? Please bear with me over the next few weeks as my speech gets better. Maybe lower the volume. Just please watch the video. This is my livelihood. Videos are my passion, and nothing will stop me from doing it. So anyways, since we got that out of the way, let's talk silver. So first, let's talk about the impact of the Russian invasion on the gold to silver ratio and how to trade it. And yes, you can actually trade the gold to silver ratio and earn free gold or free silver without spending a penny out of your pocket. This is how you do it. Let's say you have 90 ounces of silver and you trade it for an ounce of gold. So now you have this ounce of gold, you're sitting on it for about 6 months, 7 months, whatever. Now the gold to silver ratio is up to 100 to 1. So you go back to that local coin shop and you take that ounce of gold and trade it back for 100 ounces of silver. So you made an extra 10 ounces of silver. Remember, you walked in with 90 ounces a couple months ago, and now you're leaving with 100 ounces, and you haven't spent any money out of your pocket. That's how you trade the gold to silver ratio to earn free gold or free silver. It's a lot trickier than that, but people do that. But anyways, obviously, the Russian invasion of Ukraine had a profound effect on a lot of markets. But the most direct impact have been commodity futures. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, especially India, especially China, which is silver's biggest contributor. We're talking about all these countries coming together, buying boatloads of silver and gold. I mean, Russia just bought a lot of gold recently. I wonder why. Regardless, though, they're all buying commodities. While not as big, it's still significant. We're talking about Ukraine being not as big. It's still significant contributor to the trade of the world's commodity pool overall. Oil's trading well above $100 a barrel. Gold has jumped to its highest level for a couple of years. And agriculture commodities have also spiked. There is, however, one commodity where the response appears on the surface to have been somewhat insipid. Silver. And I wonder why. Like Andy Sheckman always says, price is the greatest tool of misdirection. They don't want you buying silver. Elon Musk will talk about Dogecoin. He'll talk about gold. He'll talk about this and that and the next. But you'll never hear Elon Musk talk about silver. I wonder why. Because when he tweeted those 4 letters, DOGE, Dogecoin shot up thousands of percent. Do you think Elon wants silver to shoot up thousands of percent? Imagine what his cost of production would be. He wants it cheap, and that's actually why Elon Musk bought a silver mine, a direct source. As you can see from the chart, silver futures have gained ground over the last week or so, but are still more than 10% below the 52-week high. By contrast, gold has soared to its highest levels for a couple of years and is less than 7% below its all-time high, given that so many people lump the two together as precious metals. Why the big difference in reaction to such a major event in terms of price relative to recent highs? And I always wondered, why are gold and silver so directly correlated when they're used for two completely different things? Gold is used for jewelry, necklaces, coins, bars, stuff like that. Silver is used for laptops, solar panels, EVs, so on and so forth. So many things, photovoltaics. You have colloidal silver in the medical world. Why is silver such a close indicator to gold? Or if we're talking about, if we're trying to compare and contrast these two value to value, why are they so closely correlated when silver is much more useful than gold? It should be gold sitting at $25 and silver sitting at $2,000. And yes, even though gold is more scarce out of the ground, not by much, especially since silver's a byproduct. Getting harder to find silver, and most gold is recycled and remelted and rescrapped and reused. So even though it's coming out of the ground 7-1, 7 ounces of gold are going to stay in circulation while that 1 ounce of gold is going to get thrown away. So it's actually a lot lower than that. The first and most obvious reason is gold's role as currency. It is a traditional safe haven, a place to park money where the world is in turmoil. There are alternatives in that role that the days in the crypto space, but it seems investors feel more comfortable with the traditional hiding places when things really kick off. Because of that, gold has shown strength for some time as the pandemic and inflation fears have prompted buying. And there is a natural supply of the two metals, and Russia's role in it. Keyword, Russia's role in it. If they're working on the Belt Road Initiative, or if they're working on a digital currency backed by physical commodities, and if they're trying to keep America from going green, or even the G7 from going green because they own all the oil, which would directly kill their business. I mean, if we go from oil to, electric and solar panels, that they're done. That would be a huge, devastating type of defeat. And do you think they're going to let that happen? No. And if we need silver to make that happen, then what do you think they're going to do? They're going to buy all the silver. They're going to buy all the commodities that could make that happen, because then we can't make that happen. And right now, the numbers don't lie, and the numbers are that we can't. And a lot of it is coming because of them buying all of it. At the end of last year, Russia was the world's third largest producer of gold behind China and Australia. Significantly, though, they have been steady increasing their output, with production coming in fourth. But controversial wisdom says that it's easier to replace Russia or Russian silver than it is gold, at large part of silver outperforming it as a byproduct from other metals, and mining is generally more abundant than gold. This war, and not just talking about the war, but the war between metals, will presumably remove a significant percentage of the world's silver from the market, though. And by the way, there's 500 ounces in a single Tomahawk missile. 500 ounces of silver. Think about that. even if only temporarily, and yet the price reaction there has been quite small in absolute terms since the actual invasion when compared to gold, that is presumably down to the safe haven effect. The knee-jerk reaction of traders in crisis is to buy gold, but there's another factor that should be considered, as now looks likely this is not just a temporary short-lived disruption in industrial usage. Gold does have some manufacturing uses. It's used as a catalyst in some industrial processes, and like silver, plays a role in medical, electronics, and vehicle production. However, whereas the accounts for around 11% of the world's total gold output, 50% or more is silver used in industry. Even with the greater flexibility in supply of silver, that will cause a supply and demand imbalance over time that will push silver higher relative to gold. In fact, although silver has lagged gold in absolute terms, that relative shift in price has happened. The gold to silver ratio, which basically represents how many ounces of silver it would take to buy an ounce of gold, has dropped since the invasion, meaning that silver has become relatively more expensive. And as you can see from the 30-day chart below, that was really a continuation of a trend that forms from the situation from the Russian-Ukraine border deterioration. That was a great article. That was a great paragraph to explain the reality between silver and gold. The thing is, even though that ratio has fallen as events have unfolded, it could have significantly further go, or it could go significantly further. As recent as a year ago, the ratio was around 66, and as an industrial use effect begins to bite, there's room for a drop of around 15% from current levels. That sets up a trade, but there's no really easy way to trade the gold to silver ratio like I was talking about earlier. As far as I know, there's no single ETF that can be used, and taking opposing positions in gold and silver futures may not be an option for people or be too expensive for even those who have access. What you can do, though, is use two ETF type products together without the need for shorting anything. You could buy equal amounts, and they're talking about on the ETF side. If I was going to trade gold and silver, I would do it physically, like I said. Buy an ounce of gold when the ratio is 100 to 1, and then trade that ounce of gold for 100 ounces of silver. Trade that ounce of gold for 100 ounces of silver. Hold it. Now you have 100 ounces of silver. Well, let's say you go into your coin shop and you have 80 ounces of silver, and you trade it for an ounce of gold, because the gold to silver ratio is 80 to 1. So now you have an ounce of gold, right? Because you traded your 80 ounces. Let's say in a year or so, a couple of years, you look at the gold to silver ratio and it's 120 to 1. You could take that ounce of gold back to your local coin shop, sell it for 120 ounces of silver. That means you just made 40 ounces of silver for free. Remember, you went in with 80 ounces, traded it for an ounce of gold, you waited around for the gold to silver ratio to go up, and then when it did, you traded that ounce back, and now you have 120 ounces. That is how you trade the gold to silver ratio. It's not that simple. You have to use very cheap generic rounds or cheap bullion. You have to know when the peaks are. It's tricky, but people do it all the time. And you got to know what you're doing. But yes, you can use the gold to silver ratio to your advantage to earn free gold or free silver. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. My mouth is starting to hurt. I don't know if you can tell. Probably going to take some ibuprofen and maybe make a video later. I probably shouldn't. So within the next couple of days, I'll be able to talk more and make more videos, but I promise I will be back. I'm so sorry that you guys had to hear me talk like this, and if you are still listening, you are a saint. I appreciate you so much. Please pat yourself on the back. Please like the video if you've watched this far in. Leave a comment saying still here or something along those lines. Leave a comment saying still here till the end, my friend, so I see the comments from the ones who know that I know made it through the end, because most people probably clicked off within the first minute or so. I appreciate you all so much. Please subscribe. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. If you want to purchase silver, I highly recommend going to Miles Franklin. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. They will get you hooked up. Best prices in the game. And yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
They say money be the root of all evil. Just left my coin shop with a pocket of silver eagles.